Success shouldn't feel this exhausting. If you're winning on paper, but burning out behind the scenes, you aren't failing. You're stuck in a psychological bottleneck called a hurdle of stop. I've been there. On the outside, things look great, but I was secretly burning out, convinced I was just lucky and waiting to be exposed as a fraud. I realized I didn't have a business problem. I had a mindset block. Whether it's imposter syndrome, perfectionism, or fear or failure, these aren't just feelings. They are growth bottlenecks. Identify your specific hurdle and get one immediate action step to regain your momentum today. Go to tuepodcast.net/quiz. That's tuepodcast.net/quiz to take the 3-minute assessment and get your report now. This is an Undiscovered Legacy production and proud member of Pod Nation Media Network.
Analysis causes paralysis. I find with a lot of people, it's the what ifs and the I can't do this, or the imposter syndrome of I'm not good enough to be able to do that yet, or who am I to be able to do this, I think is the biggest barrier. And it's interesting, I know so many people that are really successful, yet if you asked the people that were around them when they were 16, 17, 18, they would have probably had the opinion that that person would not be successful at all, almost to a point where their naivety or their just being brave or not overcomplicating things has allowed them to be super, super successful.
Are you ready to unlock your entrepreneur potential? Are you ready to break free from all the barriers holding you back? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, your first step in getting across the start line. Let's get across that start line together, right here, right now, on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. Salutations, Skoob believers, and we are here again with another amazing entrepreneur. Today we're here with Todd. Hey, Todd, how's it going?
I'm very well, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to be on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, get across the start line, and super appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Now, your time of day is a little different than my time of day right now. Where are you?
No, I'm in Dallas.
You're in Dallas.
Right
oh, I thought you were in Australia.
No, not now.
Oh, okay. Great. Edit. Gone. Okay. So, all right. So, yeah, thank you so much for being on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. Super appreciate you. What I like to do here at the very beginning is just ask you a semi-serious question, okay?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Are you a Skoob believer?
I am most definitely a Skoob believer.
All right, yay! Todd's a Skoob believer. Thank you, Todd, for being a Skoob believer. That's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so right here, I'd like to know exactly kind of who you are, what your entrepreneur adventure is, and how you got across the start line in your entrepreneur adventure.
Yes, very interesting background and story. So I started out as a person that wanted to go to university and get a degree and thought that I'd toe the line and follow the steps to become a businessman of some sort. I wasn't sure what it was. I just wanted to wear a shirt and tie and carry a briefcase. And then after graduating and finding a graduate position, I was in it for all of 6 months before I realized this just isn't for me. And then at the time I was sort of at a crossroads of what do I do? My father wanted me to do something with him, but my girlfriend at the time, she was right into Pilates, and she had been introduced and asked to become an instructor by her instructor. And then from there, 6 months later, we were running classes all around our town, 40 classes a week, and then realized that, okay, I don't want to be an office worker. I don't want to be I want to be a businessman, and let's just do the best that we can at a young age. We were only 21 at the time. And we went all in and opened our first Pilates and yoga studio. And the rest is history. It's just built around that initially, and then got into opening a second location. I've just always had a yearning for getting better and learning along the way.
That's fantastic. I kind of had a similar thing too. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to wear the suit and tie and,
Yeah.
talk on the phone the same time I'm driving and doing a bunch of stuff all the same time and making money because I thought that's how it was supposed to be. I
Yeah.
even for a while, for 16 years, I was a car salesman. So like I was kind of in that business area. I had a couple family members that were car salesmen. So I figured that was a place to go. And for a while, I thought that was the right thing. Now I'm in a completely different world, but it's amazing to me how we could have that almost instilled in us as children to be the picture of success. That's what success is supposed to look like. And it's not really true.
No, it most definitely isn't. And I think it's interesting, even with my own children now, to see some have chosen the path of following that. Oh, yeah, I'll do this and go to the next step and the next step to become this. Others are like, I'll just see where the wind takes me, and I'll find something that I love doing, and I'll just navigate through that learning process. And you kind of know that, you will be successful because you're taking that approach.
Yeah, I mean, we all at one point or another were told degree equals success, and especially nowadays, that's not. I really don't think that's the case anymore.
100%. It's definitely a changing environment now, where you've got kids that can be 14 or 15 learning AI things, or hustling, selling on Shopify or eBay or Facebook Marketplace, and earning great deals of income for just learning skills through YouTube or whatever means that you have, which I think is amazing.
YouTube University. That's where I learned to podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But that's where a lot of people are going now. We have such an abundance of information that's so easily attainable now that it's almost kind of crazy not to take advantage of something like that, no matter what you're doing.
100%. Oh, and the interesting thing, I speak to so many people during the week that want to open their own business or open their own Pilates studio. And it's, you can learn all the theory too, but then it's just putting it into practice. So that's the biggest step. Like, you can absorb so much and read up on and research, but until you actually take that step and go, okay, I'm going to implement one or two of these things, and that's going to catapult me forward so far. That it's my biggest with my own children, but with people that I speak to as well. It's like, it's all good that you're learning this, but let's put something into practice and start making our way towards the goal.
Exactly. We can learn as much as we want, when we want, how we want, but it's what we do with the information that we've been given is what makes us successful, or just waiting on the sidelines for something to happen to us. We have to take, as entrepreneurs, we have to take the initiative to get across the start line and to make that first step, whatever it might be, to do what we need to do.
Definitely. And, what you have in your mind's eye mightn't be exactly the path that you follow, but everything is another door that's opening. So it is like a choose your own adventure book in some ways, that you get to a point where you've got the option to go this way or this way, and you choose this way, and you might be a learning down that door, and then you get yourself back onto that path. I think that's an awesome journey as well.
Good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's going to be an adventure.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many learnings from it about yourself and about everything else within the world, which is incredible.
Yeah, you're definitely going to learn about a lot about yourself and how, your mind works.
Definitely.
I know that I experienced a lot of that when I was first getting started too. I had very serious imposter syndrome. I didn't know how to get over it or around it, and it took somebody to say something to me that made me kind of think, wow, that is kind of different than I had to think about before. Give me a different perspective, and sometimes that's what it takes.
Definitely. And taking on that feedback too, like, not as a personal attack, but as like feedback that you can grow with, I think is one of the critical pieces.
It's so easy to take feedback as like a negative thing, right? Oh, they don't like me, or they. But what it really is how you perceive yourself. and how
Yes,
you perceive, how you take in the information is what makes you who you are.
definitely. Definitely. And, understanding that you may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you'll find your tribe, and then they'll be the people that will be cheering for you or rooting for you. And when you're in your successes, and there for you to a shoulder to cry on when you need it to.
Yeah, surround yourself with those good people. It's
Yeah.
so important to be able to
100%.
find those good people that are going to cheer you on. A lot of
Yeah,
times, though, the tribe will find you before you find them if you do it the right way.
definitely. Definitely. Yes.
All right. So, what do you think stops most entrepreneurs from getting across the start line? I mean, we've experienced, yeah, exactly. I mean, we've experienced so many different things, but what do you think more than anything else?
The mind, I think the old saying of, analysis causes paralysis. I find with a lot
Mm,
of people, it's the what ifs and the I can't do this, or the imposter syndrome of I'm not good enough to be able to do that yet, or who am I to be able to do this. I think is the biggest barrier. And it's interesting. I know so many people that are really successful. Yet, if you asked the people that were around them when they were 16, 17, 18, they would have probably had the opinion that that person would not be successful at all, almost to a point where their naivety, or their just being brave or not overcomplicating things has allowed them to be super, super successful.
absolutely. Getting caught up with the what ifs, that's definitely a big one because a lot of times people will go, well, what if it doesn't work? Or what if it fails? Or what if this
Yeah.
and what if that? But what if we change that? What if
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
change that into a different way of what if it does happen? What if it does work? What if it does become successful? We won't
Totally.
know until we take that first step and get going.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So do you think that's the same thing that happened to you when you were first getting started too? I mean, what kind of difficulties did you have when you first got started?
Oh, I mean, so many difficulties with funds. Like, as I said, we were only 20, and the first commercial lease that we signed was over 100,000 per year. To fit it out would cost a lot, and we did that all through our own money, no loans, no anything. Um, so, kind of, I guess, having that naivety, but also having like I think risk is calculated. Like, people would say, "Oh, you're a risk taker," but it's like, if you believe in what you're doing, and two, if there is a market for what you're doing, it is such a calculated risk that it's like, what, as you said, using the what if it does fail? Like, what is at the end of the world? You learn so much from it, and then you can just pick it back up and go again anyway.
Exactly. And it's what we do with that what if information or the information
Yeah.
we gather from those negative experiences we have that make us who
Yeah.
we are. But you got to
Definitely.
understand it's a calculated risk. It's not just a risk. It's
Yeah.
something we think about and do the research on and do our due diligence before we take whoa, before we take the risk, before we take the jump, before we do anything else, we have to make sure we know what we're actually getting into. If you
Exactly.
just make the jump, yeah, your failure rate is going to be exponential because
Yeah.
you didn't know a real thing. You just did. If you did just the jump, then you probably did it for just the money.
Yeah.
And more
Yeah.
times than not, those types of jumps fail.
Yeah. Or they may have short term success, but then long term, there's no longevity to it.
And then eventually you burn out or you just realize you just got into something that you really don't want to be doing. And then
Yeah.
now you're too far into it where you kind of get stuck
Well,
a little bit.
and that's interesting that you say that, because I speak to so many people that are, even friends, where they've done that with a job, where they've got into this role that is ends up paying very well, and they're really comfortable, and they hate what they're doing, and they want to do something about it, but then it's like, I'm kind of trapped because I'm getting this great income, even though I hate it. It's like, oh, I've got a good income, but I hate what I'm doing every day. So it's like, is it better just to cut ties and say, okay, do the research and take some action, and you'll probably replace that income and be happy along the way.
And never forget, you can always go back too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, at
Well,
least
that's
it's something you know, or there's some kind of tool or something that you learned that people will still want. So you can always
100.
fall back on that. But at the same time, we want to move forward,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. I find it interesting that you bootstrapped your first kind of thing. So
Yeah.
if we wanted to bootstrap something, what would be the first kind of couple of steps we would want to make sure we take?
So in my scenario, it was kind of like a test of the market. So when we were running these classes throughout the different locations like scout halls and community halls and whatnot, that was really testing the market to see, okay, is there an appetite for this within the market with not really any, I guess, financial risk in some ways, because we were advertising, yes, we're running at this location and this location. And we knew that if we were getting 10, 15, 20 people a week at that location, that would be getting us $200 income. And if it was us teaching a class, it wouldn't be costing anything, but we'd have to pay for a hire of a hall or hire of a community center or whatever it was. So we knew, okay, well, there's margin there that if worst case scenario, 4 people turn up, we're still covering our costs. And then we just built and built and built. But I think that test of the market is also vital, like seeing, okay, is there an appetite for my service or my product? Okay, once we've got to that point, okay, from here, what are the next steps to make this like a larger endeavor?
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. Take those first steps, test the market, put your toe in the water, see if it's warm.
Yep.
Yeah. And then go from there. But it's also important not to overlearn your area. I mean, you start learning stuff that you might need and wasting valuable brain space or brain calories or however you want to say it on stuff you probably won't even use. So instead of doing that, learn what you need for now and then learn as you go.
Well, and I think that is actually also a super important thing of continuously learning. You don't need to know it all to start. You'll learn so much along the way that then it'll just compound and compound and compound, then you're a master at whatever journey that you're on.
And it helps to kind of niche it down to what that journey is going to be too, because if you're too broad, now you're learning so much of everything else. You kind of run into the same problem. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know that my virtual mentor, Pat Flynn, just finished writing a book called Lean Learning. Right. And it basically touches on that. It touches on learning as you go, just learning what you need now instead of just in case learning, you're doing just in time learning.
Yeah, right. Yes. Japanese production terminologies there.
Couple. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So I know you've been on a couple of podcasts before. Yeah. I'm sure you've heard, what was your biggest pitfall? What was your biggest problem? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. What I'd like to know is, and I like putting a little twist on it, is what is the one pitfall that you're proud of? I'm so glad I went through this negative thing because on the other side of this pitfall or problem, something so amazing came out of it that I'm glad I did it.
Okay, that's it. This isn't business related, but it is business related. It was actually a relationship breakdown, a divorce, actually, that made me reflect internally of who I was and what I stood for, and also allowed me to step into who I could be. So going from, I guess, an operator to like a CEO mindset, and that would probably be the same thing, like of being constantly an operator and not thinking not thinking or working like a CEO.
Well, you need to have the room to be able to think that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. When you're working in an operator, there's a lot of things coming at you that you don't have time or room in your head to be able. It's those brain calorie things again we were talking about earlier. But 100%. Just once you remove the fluff, once you remove the stuff that you don't need to deal with, then you're able to have the brain of a CEO and make those very, very important and necessary decisions for you and your company.
Definitely. I agree 100%.
All right.
It's
awesome.
Brain fatigue.
So, and you aren't the first person to actually have that same situation too that I've interviewed.
Yeah, right.
It just turned out to be it just turned out to be for the better. So don't stress over it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know here, if you came across a brand new entrepreneur that's just getting started, not necessarily in Pilates and that kind of thing, but like in general, what's
Yeah.
one good solid piece of advice would give them? What would their first step be, you think?
I'm big on. I'm so big. My wife says I'm like the hype man because I can get excited about anything. If someone is saying that they want to sell marbles, I get excited about the potential of being able for them to sell marbles. So it all gets back to me of calculated risk and then actually just getting started. Just that gets me. So I get so excited when I see people that want to take that leap, and I'm like, well, just do it. Do it in your spare time after your normal job. Just get started with something, and then things will start to roll to a point where you'll be able to take off.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to quit your 9 to 5 job right away.
No way.
There's really not really a great big reason to be able to do it until you get to that point where whatever you're doing and whatever income you're making on your side hustle,
Yeah.
equals or exceeds what you're making on your 9 to 5. And that's when you're getting to that point where you can maybe start thinking about maybe going part-time in your business, or maybe going part-time in your 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
And maybe start concentrating a little bit more. But the
Definitely.
experiences that you have doing that is going to be just as important as you making that money too, because now you're gathering experiences. You meet people, and it happens. It doesn't just like. It's so interesting to me that when I first got started, I automatically started running into people that are doing the same thing I am.
Yeah.
And it was like an automatic thing. And I thought that I would be competition, or they wouldn't want to talk to me because, they don't know who I am. But the more I did things, the more I realized I made these connections, and I started meeting those people that wanted to be able to help me more than anything else.
Yeah. And I think that's an interesting thing, that in a human being, we actually want to be empathetic and we want to help people. But you're right. So many people have that guard up of thinking that, oh, no one will want to help me. I'm all alone. I'm isolated. But you start meeting these people where they can help you in this area. They can help you with this. And it just starts to snowball as well.
And to snowball into whatever. I had during last year or the year before, I had this analogy where we start out as a snowflake, but we get a bunch of those snowflakes, we make a snowball, and we make enough snowballs, we could roll it up and turn it into a snowman.
Yeah.
And then that's the way we think about our business too, because the more flakes get together, the bigger the snowball is until you make that snowman, which is, whatever it is that you wanted it to be in the beginning. So I'm glad you put that together like that.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a tradition with all my guests. In the next 6 months, where do you see yourself in your company? Do you have a goal for yourself in the next 6 months?
Yeah, the next 6 months, we've when I say recently, we're in the last 2 years, we've done a lot more business in the US, and we've got a great product that we're always refining. And that's the other thing, even with the product-based business, is always trying to get better or make it better and make our service better. So we really want to focus on dialing in the everything to do with that to make it the best it possibly can be, but also our service that how we're servicing our clients and the training and the support that we can offer them is at an all-time high. And so our goal income is to double our income, but also along the way is we want people to be a part of this journey with us. So finding really great team members that want to buy into the values of our business and grow with us is super important for me as well.
All right, awesome. So you want to double the income and get some new team members to work behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So what I'd like to do with you, Todd, if it's okay, is I'd like to follow up with you in 6 months and have another interview just like this.
I'd love that.
And see what you've learned over those 6 months, and see if we are able to make a team that's going to stand behind you, like you say, and see where we're at that whole income thing. That's
awesome. I'd really like that.
All right, because now you're not just accountable to me, you're accountable to all my Skoob believers out there, so no pressure.
Exactly. We like pressure.
Yeah. All right, Todd, this is your time to shine. This is the time I want you to advertise yourself, how we get a hold of you, and all that good stuff. Okay, ready, set, go.
Yeah, we're on. So we're available at the CoreCollabUSA.com and also SculptFormer.com, which is our number one product for people that are looking to open modern reformer studios. You can find me there and on socials under the Core Collab USA.
All right, and you can also look into the show notes and find information there, or you can go to my website where my my guest information is there on my website. Todd, thank you so much for being on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. This has been an absolutely pleasure to be able to talk to you about things.
Thank you.
And I look forward to talking to you in 6 months, okay?
Me too. Me too. Right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, Skoob believers, make sure you stay tuned for the wrap-up. Okay, everybody, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, Skoob believers, that was Todd. Todd, thank you so much for being on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur Get Across the Start Line. We learned so much about you and your business and how you actually got across the start line. You did some amazing things. But Skoob believers, as usual, I do have a couple of takeaways I want to make sure that you caught. And this is really big for me because a lot of times, especially for me too, the people nobody actually expects to succeed is actually the one that does. Not because they knew more, but because they weren't scared enough by what they didn't know to stop themselves from starting. Sometimes it's kind of good to not know exactly what you're getting into. That way you don't get into your head about things. But it takes a certain quality person, you, to get across the start line and start something even though you don't know everything about it. But you know you love it. You know it's something that's in your zone of genius. If it fits in your zone of genius, get across the start line and take action now. Even though you might not know everything about it, you just know enough that you love it. A calculated risk is not so much as a leap of faith as it is a leap of evidence. And the entrepreneur who tests the market before committing is not being cautious, but they're being smart enough to let the reality make the decision instead of fear. A lot of us looking at things from the outside, normal people, your basic 9 to 5 or your friends or whatever it might be, looking in at you as the entrepreneur might think we're taking these huge risks, but in actuality, it's not so much as a risk as it is a leap of faith with evidence. We are taking the information that we're given and we understand that this is the guideline. This is what we need to do to be able to start our entrepreneur adventure. But we're not so much as making a distinction of jumping into the chasm without understanding what we're doing. As I said, it's a decision of what we're doing based on the evidence that we've been given. And once we hit that threshold, then we make that leap. Don't be fooled by other people taking that leap and succeeding and think they just made a leap into nothingness. There's a reason they made that leap. Understand that reason, and your business will succeed. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, Skoob believers, for another fantastic episode. Just a quick announcement. I did get into PodFest to be able to speak on stage again this next year coming up, but I will also be talking on a virtual stage coming up in December for another entrepreneur group. Keep an eye out for more details on that, how you can attend. They say not just me, but a whole lot of other entrepreneurs out there that have a message along with me. All right, Skoob believers, thank you. Bye-bye. And there you have it, future entrepreneurs. We've taken a vital step on the journey across the start line. Remember, every great business begins with a single idea and the courage to pursue it. And you've already showed that courage just by being here today. As we wrap up this episode of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur Get Across the Start Line, I want you to reflect on the path. You have to recognize the 4 hurdles of stop. Is it imposter syndrome holding you back? Is it perfectionism, failure, or fear? Identifying which one affects you the most is the key to unlocking your momentum. But here's the real secret. The hurdles are not in the way, they are the way. Every time you clear one, you're building the exact strength you need for your journey ahead. Until our next episode, keep pushing, keep dreaming, and keep jumping over those hurdles. This is Skoob, your guide across the start line. Remember, your future is waiting. I can, I am, I will, and I'm doing it today. Hello, Skoob believers. Let me ask you a real quick question. How many cups of coffee have you had today? 3, 5, 7? And let me guess, you've got a Red Bull in the other hand just in case, right? Yeah, I see you. Now, here's the truth bomb nobody wants to hear. You're not building a business. You're building a caffeine dependency. Listen, I get it. When you're grinding 12, 14, 16-hour days, you're building something from nothing. When you've got payroll to meet, investors to impress, and visions that won't wait. You need fuel. But what if I told you that the fuel that you're using is actually slowing you down? What if the very thing that you think is keeping you sharp is actually making you dull? Enter Rise Coffee. This isn't your grandma's mushroom tea. This isn't some hippie wellness trend. This is science meets performance. And here's what makes Rise different. Less than half the caffeine of a regular cup of coffee. But here's the kicker. You won't miss it. 6 organic powerhouse mushrooms, including cordyceps, what Olympic athletes use, and lion's mane, what Silicon Valley biohackers swear by. Sustained energy that doesn't spike and crash. We're talking smooth, clean power from morning to moonlight. Crystal clear focus without the jitters. Imagine closing the deal with calm, confident mind instead of the caffeine chaos. Gut health and immune support, because what's the point of building an empire if you're too sick to enjoy it? So here's the challenge to you. Stop borrowing energy from tomorrow. Stop running on fumes and call it a hustle. Stop wearing your caffeine addiction like a badge of honor. Real entrepreneurs optimize, real entrepreneurs adapt, real entrepreneurs win. You can't win if you're crashing at 2 p.m. while your competition is just getting started. Break the cycle. Head to risesuperfoods.com right now and use code PODNA15 for 50% off your first order. That's PODNA15 for 15% off. Try it for 30 days. If you don't feel the difference, if you don't feel sharper, calmer, more focused, more alive, then go back to your 6-a-day cup habit. But I'm telling you, we won't, because once you feel what real energy feels like, you'll never go back. Ditch the addiction, fuel your empire, and rise up. Rise Coffee, energy that builds, not burns.